Well, we made it. Here we are, the whole month of January. We made it, the month of the introduction of the science of mind and spirit. We talked about the thing itself the first week. Then we talked about the way it works. Last week, what it does, and today, how to use it. So, to recap, just in case you missed one of the Sundays, the thing itself, spirit, first cause, energy, God, volition, Christ consciousness, Buddha mind, the big kahuna, Bob, whatever you want to call it, that thing itself, the ground of all being, right? That thing itself that makes itself known in physical form. That's it, right? All there is. And then the week after that, the way it works. And what we said was it works by working through us. It works for us by working through us. That is the way it changes conditions in the world. We are the place where spirit shows up and does the work in the manifest world, and it changes those conditions. That is the way it works. That is it. And then last week, we talked about what it does. And what it does is it responds to us at the level of our acceptance of it. We are able to demonstrate as much or as little as we believe, embody, demonstrate, accept, and release, right? Through us, right? Through us. So you have to ask yourself, is my cup of acceptance a thimble, or is it a 55-gallon drum? Is it a tanker? It's our choice. What it does is it responds to our level of acceptance, our invitation to it. And so today we get to discuss how to use it. Here we are. This is it. This is the culmination. How to use it. And so for me, how to use it is to believe in it, to believe that it works, to believe in its ability to respond to us according to our belief and acceptance of it. And Ernest Holmes said this. He said, it follows that if we believe it will not work, it really works by appearing to not work. You gotta love that, right? Okay, he went on to say this. When we believe it cannot and it will not, then, according to principle itself, it does not. How brilliant is that? If we believe it works for us. If we believe it does not work for us, proving the principle works all the time. It works by not working. How freaking brilliant is that? Okay, you know, when I was years and years ago, when my kids were small, and I was in the PTA, I took on this fundraiser to purchase an infrared helmet camera for the Santee firefighters. At that time, this was years ago. This was when God was a boy. No, really, it was that long ago. Those things cost about $25,000. And I said, I'm going to do this. You know, I'm going to raise this money. I'm going to donate this infrared camera to the Santee firefighters. And so we started this huge pledge campaign, and we raised about $8,000. And then I got a little bit higher, got a little bit more money, and I got about $10,000. And right about $10,000, I stalled. I just stalled. It seems like I couldn't raise another dime. And you know, as people went around, and what had happened, I was a practitioner student at the time. You're going to love that. So I stalled, and people started telling me, well, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be hard to do. You know, it is hard to do. And I started believing them. This is going to be hard. Well, 10,000 is easy, but 25 is hard, you know. Somehow, it got into my consciousness. Yeah, I guess it is going to be hard. It's going to take a long time. And, you know, at some point, the PTA president called me back, and she was like, are we going to do this thing or not? You know, we have to either do this or not. And so I got off the phone with her, and I lost it. I got so upset. I was like, I said I was going to do this. I'm going to do this. This is going to happen. I absolutely know it's going to happen. And that was my prayer. It was more like a yell than a prayer. But I was like, I'm tired of listening to all those reasonable people that told me it's going to be hard. I fell into that trap of being reasonable. Oh my God, right? Don't ever do that. So I just went full on God. You know, we are going to do this thing and we're going to do it together. And about 10 minutes later, I got a phone call from a local business who said, are you the lady that's raising the money for the, oh, yes, I'm the lady. And he said, well, I can give you $2,500. And I was like, yes, thank you, God. So I drove over and I got the $2,500 check from him, came back, and I'm like, okay, that's $1,250, so I'm halfway there. I am halfway there, right? $12,500, yes, I'm good to go, you know, halfway. And I know that, and then when about, I don't know, half hour lapsed, I got another phone call, and someone said, are you the lady raising the, yes, I'm the lady raising the money for the infrared camera. He said, well, I don't know how much money you've raised so far, but I'll match it. And there it was, like in an hour from the original phone call, I had all the money for the camera. I was like, yeah, you know. But it was only when I stopped listening to all the reasonable people. Stop listening to the reasonable people around you that tell you reasonable things about what's so in the world. Ernest Holmes said this, when it comes to the practical use of this spiritual approach, we put it off. He says this, we put it off the day because we do not believe we know how to use it. We will never know how to use it until we use it. All the rest is theory. You will find when you come to this practice, you will throw all your books out the window. See, I told you he said that. You will throw all your books out the window and you will sit right down in the middle of yourself and do it anyway. And that's what we're called to do. And he goes on to say this, all we study is a new way, a scientific way, according to a law, with a definite technique of getting to the place where we can throw all these things out the window, along with all the prayers somebody else has said. And we do our own praying. And that's what this is about. That's what this teaching is about. Doing it like that, our way, sitting down in the middle of ourselves. It's brilliant. Ernest Holmes just said it right there in the introduction. Just do it. I think Nike owes somebody some money. I just thought of that. Wait a minute. Anyway, Ernest Holmes said years and years and years before that company was even born, he said, just do it. Just do it. Sit on your meditation cushion. And it could be a chair. It doesn't have to be a meditation cushion. It can be a chair, a bed, a bench, a hammock. Who cares? Sit and find the middle of yourself, like he said, and just do it. Just pray, and pray your own words, and use your own terms, and use the words that are really juicy for you, that get you into that place. Make your practice work for you. Pray until you believe it. Pray until your doubt disappears. Pray until your entire being vibrates with the frequency of conviction, because your energy becomes then a vibrational match at that frequency, and that is what is drawn into your experience. You become a vibrational match for that thing. And he said it's all theory until we sit down and we actually practice. Excuse me. Ernest Holmes said man's place in the creative order is to reproduce in miniature, in his individual being, the vast creative order of the universe. That's the energy that's flowing through us. We are some individualized expression, some individualized thread of the energy of the universe. That's powerful stuff. He goes on to say this, from this creative power of thought, we shall never escape. We are in it. We're enmeshed in it. We can't get away from it. We can't be outside of it. It is in us and we are in it. We may merely learn how to use it. If we have been using it destructively, and if our use of it has produced lack, fear, physical infirmity, the next logical step to take is to reverse our processes of thought. And no matter what the situation we find ourselves in, to realize that God is right there. Law is ever available, and we must know we can draw on this divine presence to meet each and every situation. We are that thing. It speaks through us. The thing that created the universe and is continuing to create, is forever creating and absorbing its creations. We are that. That energy flows through us. When we speak our word, we're speaking our word. We learn how to use it by using it. It's like riding a bike, right? You can read every book on earth about riding a bike, but you'll never learn how to ride a bike until you get on it. Start pedaling. We cannot come here Sunday after Sunday after Sunday after Sunday and listen to me talk about how to use it. We have to actually use it. We have to know how it works, and we have to know how to use it consciously. We're using it all the time, aren't we? We're using it all the time. It's responding to us all the time at our level of acceptance, at our reasonable mind, right? And what we think, what we deserve, what we think we can make happen. But the time has come to stop theorizing and stop talking about the principle and start practicing it in earnest, with earnest. Whatever. Okay. Because what I know is that we say we're religious scientists, right? And we say, oh, I've been in this teaching for 20 years. I've been in this teaching 30 years. I've been in this teaching how long? Really? Have you? How long have you been actually practicing, though? Sometimes I think we've been in this teaching 1 year, and we've been just repeating that 1 year over and over and over again, We have to take it deep. We have to go deep with it. We have to practice it, actively practice it. And not just talk about it. Talk, talk, talk. All that noise of talk, talk, talk. You know what they say? They say public pools and churches are the same. All the noise comes from the shallow end. I love that. Anyway, okay, just a joke. We have to go deeper. Actually practice it. Stop talking about practicing it, We have to dive in. Ernest Holmes said we have to dive in, free from all apparent moorings. And we have to go deep and prove the principles, prove that they work. We jump in and we make it real for ourselves. And the only way we can do that is by using it. Not talking about it, but using it. Ernest Holmes, in his open letter in it's a Science of Mind magazine in the 30s. He said, there comes a time in our evolution of thought metaphysically when we must stop analyzing and begin to accept. The analysis is only to create a conclusion in our own consciousness relative to a principle which must be accepted, and then the principle is accepted, it must be used. And the use of the principle is not only the conscious acceptance that thought is creative, but also the conscious acceptance that we know how to use it, and that the word we are speaking is truth. The word we are speaking is truth. That is powerful. Every word that comes out of us is truth. It is our personal affirmation. So when I said, oh, this is going to be hard, it's going to be hard, and the universe says yes. And when I say this is easy, the universe says yes. And when I say I'm a powerful being, the universe says yes. And when I say I'm weak and I'm broken, I'm sad and I'm alone, the universe says, I don't know why, but the universe says yes. Because it can only respond to our concept of it. When it comes to the conscious acceptance that there is a law of good in the universe, there is a power and there is a presence greater than we are. He used to say that every week. And we can use it. He used to say that every week. We come to the place where we're knowing. We know. But knowing is not enough. We must prove to ourselves these principles work. We must prove the principles work on our behalf. That they work for us, that they are some part of the creative outpicturing of the universe. We are some part of that creative outpicturing of the universe. And that the universal intelligence and that our word has power. It has power and it changes conditions around us. Like Ernest Holmes said, in our little individualized use of this creative power that created the entire universe. We continue to expand our faith, and we continue to expand our belief and acceptance in this power and presence so that it does more and more for us as we grow our faith. When we do this, we expand our consciousness in universal intelligence. We prove to ourselves it works. We stop wondering if, and we start declaring that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We are that. We are that which has created the universe. And we have that power and presence running through us to change conditions around us in our own little private universe, in our own little personal world. To the extent that we accept that, we believe it, we demonstrate it. Ernest Holmes said this, he said, let such people, that's us, let such people catch the vision of the law of good and come to realize that there is really a power greater than we are, which is both accessible and available, and learn how to use it. They will forget about their inadequacies and begin to place their reliance in this power greater than they are. And as surely as they do this, they will be rewarded. Things will begin to happen to them that has never happened before. We begin to learn to rely on a power and a presence that is with us, that has been with us forever. And we get results according to the affirmative prayers we pray, our own prayers, our own way. And as we get demonstrations, our faith expands. We come to depend, rely on this power to work through us. We stop letting doubt seep in. We become totally convinced in our own ability to use this power and presence, to align with this power and presence on our behalf. We start knowing how to use it and stop wondering if it's going to work this time. We know, absolutely, without a doubt, gravity works. There's not a person in this room that doubts if I take this book and hold it up and let go of it, is it going to float in the air or is it going to hit the deck, right? There's not a doubt in your mind what's going to happen because you don't doubt gravity. Works 100% of the time. Electricity works 100% of the time. Magnetism works 100% of the time. We rely on it working. We depend on it working. We don't doubt. It's time to stop doubting spiritual principle. Ernest Holmes, in his reader on practical wisdom, he said this: what you and I need more than anything else and above everything else is a quiet confidence that there is a power greater than we are and that we can use it. And having come to this simple conclusion, we should not spend all of our time proclaiming that there is a power. Rather, we should spend our time proving the power exists. We should spend our time finding out how it works and through us, what it means to us as individuals, and what it could mean to the whole world if everyone became acquainted with it and learned how to use it. Everyone. Could you imagine? Could you imagine how we could change the world if everyone came in here and learned these principles as we're learning them and walking together in this power and presence and aligning with it and outpicturing as it in the world? We could change the world, and we are changing the world, center by center, consciousness by consciousness. It has been said, if everyone knew what we know and learned what we're learning within these walls and practice what we are practicing when we get together, there would not be buildings large enough to hold the religious science community. That is the truth. That is the truth. This is the time. Here is the place. And we are the people. We know the thing itself. We got that. We know the thing itself. We know the way it works. We know what it does, and now we know exactly how to use it. It's time to go deeper. It's time to go deeper and to know that we know that we know. Ernest Holmes said this, and it's a great prayer, and it's a great affirmation, and I'll make copies of it if you'd like before you leave. I can have them at the front desk. He said, I have complete confidence in my knowledge and understanding of the law of good. I not only know what this law is, I know how to use it. I know that I shall obtain definite results through the use of it. I realize that doubts about my ability to use these laws are a thing of thought. What thought has produced, thought can change. Knowing this, I have confidence in my ability to use the law, and using it daily for specific purposes, gradually I build up an unshakable faith, both in the law and in the possibility of demonstrating it. There is no doubt in me, no uncertainty rising through me. My mind rejoices at the certainty, and in assurance, I confidently expect my word shall not return to me void. That's our practice. That is our practice. To go deep enough, to go to that place within us, within ourselves, like Ernest Holmes said, to get to that seat of perfection nestled within us, that knows of no doubt, that is absolutely confident that we are aligned with a power and with a presence, and that it operates through us and as us in the world. Thank you so much.